Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, Thank you very much. Yeah, let's wait. Okay, good. Uh, okay, let me start the event. So my name is Rani, and on behalf of GARB Slow Fashion, I want to welcome you to Fashion Revolution Bali. This event is organized in the Global Fashion Revolution Week, which is held annually every April, commemorating the Rana Plaza tragedy from 2013. It is a time of fashion debates, sustainability discussions, and panel events promoting responsible fashion and educating the public. So GARB Slow Fashion Bali is actually a new initiative in Ubud in Bali, which promotes the slow fashion movement for the makers as well as for the consumers. We have a physical space across the Zero Waste Bali store in Ubud, but due to Corona, we have to postpone the the launching of the physical space, and that's why we are having this Fashion Revolution Bali, a series of virtual events to mark the launch of GARB Slow Fashion Bali online. On this Outways Fashion session, we will have Strange But Cool, Tree Upcycle, and Indosole, who are focusing their businesses in converting waste into useful products by recycling and upcycling waste. They are passionate about making beautiful things from waste, but equally important is to be sustainable and also with minimum damage to the environment. How do they do it? What are the difficult choices they have made in their journey to stay true to their values? Let's join them and be inspired. And now let's start the event by introducing our speakers. Let's start from Tina from Strange But Cool.
Hey, hi. Is it coming across okay now? Perfect. All right. So, how do I start my journey? It's actually a really long journey in the sense that Strange But Cool was started in 1999. So, we are 21 years old this year. And it's in fashion. It's always been in fashion. And it started with handbags and it's still doing handbags. But during the course of its 21 years, I had to close it for a period of time to start another business. But now I've come back into Strange but Cool. But if we're talking about waste and how one takes that into fashion as we have, that journey started in 2016. So I could say it's 4 years ago, thereabouts. And as I say, we still do handbags. And what we've done is we've brought your rubbish, what you throw away, into how we make the handbag. So I'm going to show you the latest handbag that we have. We call her the Medusa, and there's a reason why she's called Medusa. She is, okay, this is my Medusa here. I hope you can see it. She is made out of absolute, it's rubbish all the way. So you notice this is a 3-in-1 coffee sachet. This is from an oat t-shirt. That's from oat denim. That's from an oat tie. The underside of it came from a packaging handle. And we have used Bintan bottle caps to put everything together. And that's Medusa. So we started making her before the pandemic hit us. And so my shop in Bali is full of Medusas right now in different sizes. So if you ask us, how do we bring waste into it? We bring waste into what we make. So that's a Medusa here, very aptly named. And we've been doing that for 3 years. And each time we do something, it's a collection of what we find in our kitchens or brought into me, or friends who have collected plastic bottles, for example, and they give it to me. And I've got people collecting plastic bottles and bringing them in. So sometimes our entire studio looks like it's a collection ground for plastic bottles. So that's made from a plastic bottle. It's a container. And the one inside is really cute because the bottom is made from a yogurt cup and it's another container. We started giving these away and then we had people saying we want to buy it from you. So now we do a combination of an assemble and we sell it. So that's where we have gone with taking rubbish. And we created a platform, we call that conscious change, and we repurpose things. So for example, that's a span tin. and I just turned it into a handbag that I carry. This is, you can see that's coffee, isn't it? That was from my trip to France. We were somewhere in a chateau, and this was our coffee bag, and I brought it back, and I've turned it into a bag that I carry. So it's rubbish, guys, but rubbish has gone into fashion. So as I said, it's conscious change for us, repurposing into fashion, and that's our tagline, and that's where we are today, right now. I think about 80% of our fashion things, like what I wear, this is strange but cool fashion, we've sort of moved away from doing garments and trying to bring all this throwaways that you don't think about into our fashion. I mean, to the point whereby, okay, another thing, that's my wallet, by the way. That's what I carry my money in. I don't have anything fancy. And inside it, if I open that for you, is a paper container where my money is. And that's ringgit, because I'm right now in Penang in a lockdown. So that's it. So it's really walking the talk. And if you want to know whether you can do it, yes, it is easy to do. But I think it's opening one's mind and say, do I want to carry something that I go out and buy? Or do I want to carry something that I can actually make and fine tune it and get it to a level whereby people are going to say, my God, where did you get that from? It's so cool. And that's happening to us at this point in time. And so that journey from being 21 years dealing with designing handbags, coming now to still designing handbags, but doing it from strange things. That's Cousin It, by the way. And Cousin It is made from the base of my Swatch watch container. That's what it is. And that's my Cousin It. And I've carried her to evening functions, and I get all sorts of strange comments. Tina, what is that you've got? And I say, it's Cousin It. So this is where we are in the whole aspect of taking rubbish, wasting not, and bringing it back into fashion, and still trying to keep it, I would say, at a certain level with a certain style that suits our brand, Strange but Cool.
Thank you very much, Tina. Very,
Okay.
very amazing experience. It's very interesting products that you have there.
Well, it's a lot more. Probably one last one that people think that can't be done, but this is a tassel. And this is one that I had on my carry bag, so it's a bit squished. It's a tassel. You hang it on the bag. It's a decorative item, correct? But we go one step further. It's a little container, so I put my little emergency money in it or whatever and hang it. And we make this as well, and we give it away, and then we sell them, and then we work further with Tetra Pak that's got a T on it. We make little hangs. So it's just seeing how creative can you be and how fashionable do you do it. So that's a little bit of our display.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Okay. And next we'll be with Anissa from Upcycle.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Anissa. Hello. It's a very interesting product, Tina. It's very inspiring for me. And yeah, I would like to introduce a little bit about Upcycle. What is Upcycle? I am Anissa. I'm the business development manager of Upcycle. And maybe before I further explaining about what is Upcycle itself, I would like to show a short video. It's our video profile. It's yeah, maybe Karani, can you help me to play it? Misi kami adalah mengurangi limbah, menginspirasi setiap orang untuk menjadi konsumen yang bijak, dan bumi yang lebih hijau. Tahukah kamu bahwa industri garmen dan tekstil adalah pencemar kedua terbesar di dunia? Juga, tahukah kamu bahwa setiap tahun terjadi kebakaran hutan di Indonesia? Yang terburuk terjadi di tahun 2015. Di mana 2,6 juta hektar hutan kita di Kalimantan hilang terbakar.
Berbagai dampak dari polusi garmen dan kebakaran hutan tidak hanya berbahaya bagi manusia, tapi juga bagi kehidupan ribuan satwa dan jenis tumbuhan di Indonesia. Banyak yang peduli, tapi tidak tahu bagaimana caranya untuk berkontribusi. Dari hal inilah, Tree Upcycle lahir untuk mengajak setiap orang menjadi bagian dari solusi. Siapa yang menyangka kalau sebuah bandana dapat menjadi solusinya? Bandana yang kami buat adalah hasil olahan limbah spray dari hotel-hotel di Bali. Selain bandana, kami membuat produk upcycle lainnya seperti tas, dompet, dan masih banyak lagi. Tidak berhenti di situ, hasil keuntungan yang kami dapatkan didonasikan untuk mendukung organisasi-organisasi yang menjaga kelestarian hutan dan satwa di Indonesia. Dengan menggunakan produk kami, kamu telah menjadi bagian dari solusi. Karena hal sekecil apapun yang kita konsumsi akan memiliki dampak pada bumi ini. Ayo menjadi konsumen yang lebih bijak. Karena kalau bukan kita, siapa lagi? Together, we stand for the forest.
All right, that's the short brief about our social enterprise. So Tree Upcycle itself is a social enterprise that is using upcycled material to promote conscious consumption and planet Earth with more trees. So we are very inspired by the Trihita Karana philosophy, which is coming from Bali, where we are based. I believe that almost many of you know about the Trihita Karana philosophy itself, but I would like to let you know again. First is about the connection between human and human. The second is connection between human and the nature. And third is between human and the God or the divine. And inspired by that philosophy, we really want to have a social enterprise that is not only making a profit, but also giving impact socially and also environmentally. Tree Upcycle itself started with the name of Tree Handkerchiefs. It was a school project back in the Green School. I was an intern back then in 2016. I met Ben Vigil, a student from Green School. He has a school project to reduce the usage of paper tissues in his school, which is Green School. And then I come into the project to help grow the social enterprise, and then we think about how can we make our social enterprise giving more impact. But then we also have a scheme to donate the sales of our product to the forest, to support the forest of Indonesia, because we see that this is an urgent issue that we have to solve together, not only for Indonesian people, but also everyone. We want everyone to be able to give support to do something. We don't want people to feel powerless. We want to empower everyone to collaborate, to do something together to protect our forest. So yeah, now we're not only making handkerchiefs or to reduce the usage of the tissue, but we're coming up with the upcycled product. So from Tree Handkerchiefs, we move and we rebranding ourselves as Tree Upcycle. We produce a lot of stuff like bandana, like you saw in the video, tote bags, and many more. And during this COVID-19 pandemic, we come out with the mask like this to cover your face and to protect your loved ones. So yeah, our mission is basically, we have three missions. First is we want to reduce fabric waste, especially. And the second one, we want to live in an earth with more trees. And the third one, this is a very important one, because we think the people consumption habit is the cause of many environmental problems in this earth. So we really want to increase the awareness of the people about conscious consumption itself. So we want to promote it. We want to let people know that small things that we buy or small things that we do can affect the environment. Either it's a good or bad thing. So yeah, with, let's say, upcycling fabric, and then you wear it, you already reducing the waste of the fabric. And we also have a campaign for tree for tree. So if you buy one of our products, then you will plant one tree, something like that. So our goal is to make everyone involved together to tackle the problems of the deforestation in Indonesia. So yeah, I think that's enough from me.
Thank you, Anissa. Thank you very much. And now let's continue with Kai Paul from Indosole.
Hi guys, thank you. Thank you, Anissa, for sharing, and thank you, Tina, for sharing both amazing and inspiring companies and works that you're doing. So thank you very much. And thank you to Slow Fashion Bali for having me and having Indosole be a part of your event. And Fashion Revolution is something that's really growing, and it's really cool to see it taking place in Bali and being a part of it, because as we know, Indonesia is a large manufacturing area, and a lot of what Fashion Revolution talks about is in Indonesia. And I do have to give credit to Indonesia, though. They're having been in the industry for a while, that there are a lot of good manufacturers. There's still a lot of work to be done, but I don't know as much about other places, but I do know that I have seen a lot of responsible manufacturing in Indonesia. So I think there is still work to do, but I think that those out there listening on YouTube, give Indonesia a try, because there are some very good things happening here as well. But there's still work to do. And I'll tell you a little bit about Indosole. And this is work that we continue to do every day, and is in our brand mission. And we look forward to and have a good feeling about the future. And by the future, we mean not maybe next year or the year after, but to continually improve and have a long-term vision at hand. So back to Indosole, we started in 2009 officially. My business partner and founder, Kyle Parsons, started coming to Bali in 2004. His family was living here, and he found a pair of sandals that his pair of sandals broke. He found a pair of sandals and he wanted to find a pair of sandals that represented Bali. It was hard for him to do that, and he kept searching. He found a pair, and it actually had a motorbike tire on the bottom. And he thought they were really cool. He brought them back to the US, showed some friends, and everyone was like, wow, those are really cool. Well, they were cool, but they were horrible to wear. They were very uncomfortable, and to be honest, not very sellable. And by sellable means when you put it in a shop, people want to buy it, right? And so there began a journey of trying to find, first I give a lot of credit to Kyle, because he put two and two together. Because in Bali in the mid 2000s, as surfers and people of the water, we started noticing that there was more trash coming onto the beaches and into the water. And seeing that there was a waste product on the bottom of a sandal really inspired Kyle and inspired us that there was a solution out there. And how can we start thinking about solutions rather than only talking about problems? And so Indosole was born out of Bali, established in California, in San Francisco, on the idea of being a solutions company. And utilizing recycled tires was our first solution. Now in that, I want to make sure that we give respect to all the cultures and people that have used tires in the past. We don't want to claim that we're the first, and we know we're not the first. Our idea was to take their inspiration and their creative their creativity and take it to a new level and bring it to the masses. In Indonesia alone, there's 200 to 250 million tires every year that get discarded. A lot of them are being burned, up to 60% in small factories. Worldwide, there are 1.6 billion tires that are discarded every year. And there's not a clear direction of how to use these tires after they're discarded. And this is the same for any type of waste. So yes, tires are our thing, but we aim to inspire to think about where waste goes when you're done with its use. And in this, very similar to what Tina was saying, we feel that there's a way to utilize this waste in a way that is conducive to normal life. And by normal life, I mean people want to wear it. It looks cool, it's comfortable, it's durable, and it competes on a market with anything that's new. It's very important to make things that people like, not just because it's waste, or not just because it's organic, or not just because it's sustainable. You have to compete with the products that are not. And so design, creativity, inspiration are all very important pieces of the puzzle to us. And to continue to evolve and to continue to innovate. We call this resourceful creation. And that's kind of our tagline and our mantra to what inspires us. It's let's resourcefully create. I want to show you share the screen with you, show you a couple quick things. Let's see here. For some reason, it's not popping up. Oh, share computers. Here you go. So this is a look at our sandals. And this, I will show you a quick video. You share. This is our most recent video that we haven't even shared yet, so this is a sneak peek. Oh.
Don't worry, these kind of things happen.
Yeah, live.
It's
live
indeed, it's out of our control. So let's
just make sure.
Buffered. Yeah.
Wi-Fi is, yeah. But I mean, while it's loading, just as a precursor to what we're going to discuss is, just want to be clear that recycled tires was our first solution. And as a solutions company, we're continuing to look at additional solutions. And don't want to let you in on what that is yet, because there's still some hurdles to cross. But the genesis of that idea is that there's always something more to develop and more to create. And having this idea of resourceful creation as a line that runs through the brand is something that will extend beyond our current product. So those out there that are interested in Indosole, please follow us on at Indosole on Instagram for updates. We'll hint at. Oh man, something's going on with the internet. Anyways, maybe we can come back to that later when we're closing, and maybe we can move on.
Yeah, it's fine. You can play that later on.
Okay. Want to try one more time?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try one more time. anyways, we'll let it load and then I'll let you guys know when it's back and ready. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's Indosole. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kai. So thank you for your introduction. And we already have 2 questions actually from the YouTube viewers. One is actually to Kai. Someone is asking, where did you get your shirt? It looks upcycled.
Actually, this is my father's shirt. I was born in Jakarta. I'm born and raised in Java. And he wore this shirt in like the 80s or 90s maybe. He handed it down to me, and then I've patched it up probably 5-6 times. So if anybody knows batik, it's all different types of batik. But this is not something I made. This is something that was made here in Indonesia, from similar to what Anissa is talking about with tree upcycle, of taking, waste. But you got to give a lot of people a lot of credit. There are a lot of things out there that are doing what we're talking about inherently out of being resourceful, which is also very interesting.
That's an awesome story, actually. Wow. And the second question is from the YouTube viewer, is for Tina. So there's a question about, can everybody mix what you just showed, or it requires certain technique?
I don't think it requires a technique. It requires you to be innovative. And if I just backtrack a bit, how did we start with this whole repurposing story was in 2016, someone threw a plastic bottle off the back of a motorbike and it rolled and it hit my foot. And I picked it up and I said, how can anyone just do this? And that opened my eyes at that point that, my God, there is so much waste around. I come from the hardcore fashion industry. We're very bottom line, we're very commercial, we're very, in that respect, driven. So fashion is all about dollars and cents and the reality of it. So all of a sudden, to have your eyes open and say, there is a soul that can be connected to the business. Now that for myself was my euphoric moment. So you don't need to be someone that can turn out the perfect seam. You just need to be innovative, have that desire to create and go about doing it. And we could guide you along, but it just comes from you. If you want to do it, go ahead and do it.
Thank you very much.
Rubbish.
Oh, I see. No, because, sometimes when, even for myself, if I see, I'm not going to use this shirt anymore, and then but of course I cannot just throw it. So if I want to do something with it, then, but of course maybe my technique may be very low or very, very basic. So that's probably what people are trying to know, to learn, where should I do something on repurposing my stuff.
Okay, my little heart here. If I come back to that question, the glue gun is available and you can go and get that, right? Staplers are available, double-sided tape is available. So you can use all these as joining agents to put things together. And not too long ago, I was in a workshop teaching people how to turn a t-shirt into a tote bag. Just a pair of scissors needed to cut and tie. And the audience was quite alarmed that, oh my God, my t-shirt can be turned into something so funky to be used. So it's, look wide, because I believe that there are so many other YouTubers out there that teach you how to be creative. So you don't need always a sewing machine, but you need to have that desire to want to go and do it. So yes, go and turn trash into something fantastic.
Thank you, Tina. Okay.
Can I have a question, Rani? That's actually also really one of the reasons that GARB Slow Fashion was created. I'm actually a very boring business person, and I am very much used to just think in patterns. So when Kai is actually saying that we need to be resourceful, I actually think that a lot of people, or resourceful or creative, I think a lot of people have kind of lost that, and they don't really feel safe to try things out. I mean, everybody's sitting behind a computer, and not so many people are using their hands and trying to learn things with their hands, and it's kind of out of fashion now. And what I'm really trying to do with actually this space that you see behind me is really to connect people with each other, and they can just sit on this long table here, as opposed to just sitting behind a computer. Hopefully they get they can sit behind a sewing machine or have a glue gun or a stapler, and they just try, you know, they start making stuff, and knowing that's okay if they make mistakes, but just having fun with it, because I think that's where creativity and resourcefulness, it's one of the foundations, I think, right? Because I think if you are afraid to do something wrong, or if you are fearful, then I think that kind of clamped down on your resourcefulness and creativity. So I'm really trying here to provide a full and a safe space to just inspire people to do more with stuff that is already here on Earth, that is already here, right? So it could be waste, but it could also be secondhand clothes. I love Kai's story about the shirt of his father. So it's really already old, and that we are just you know, my generation and generation after me, we are not thinking like that anymore. I think we are very often thinking about just buying stuff new. And resourcefulness also comes from the fact, like, you have to, right? You have to be resourceful. And I think the have to, sometimes it comes from not having enough money, you know, and people are trying to makeshift things because they don't have funds. And now I think it actually should really come by the calling to waste less, just because, yeah, the damage that we are now doing on Earth is just really too much. I mean, that's unacceptable. So thank you actually for really being here and showing, leading by example.
Thank you, Sophie. What I want to actually curious to know is, because when you the three of you are sharing your you know, how you started, all of you are starting it with you know, from the very personal experience, you know, and I think being very with that start, I think that the journey must be, you know, you must face challenges on your journey, on your doing that, you know, from the beginning. Maybe I think Indosole is already in the business for like 10 years. So maybe Kai can share a little bit about the challenges that you face, you know, on the journey of Indosole until now.
Yes, I mean, yeah, it's quite a journey. It's been 10 years. We turned 10 in August, and August 13th. And our challenge was, in the beginning, it was supply of tires. How do we get, you know, where do we get tires? How do we kumpul them? How do we gather them and have a steady flow of tires? And basically, what we started working with was the communities that are already doing it, right? So we started finding people that were collecting tires. Unfortunately, a lot of them were selling to people who were burning the tires, right? So sometimes you got to go to the belly of the beast. So we found the people selling to the people burning. We offered 5,000 rupiah more for each tire than they were selling, so that we could basically divert the stream from them being burned to us taking them in, cutting them, and then using them soles for footwear. We went through a journey of a product journey as well, where we were making a product that we thought was really special. We started out with motorbike tires, but it wasn't a very sellable product. And by sellable, I said earlier, is that it didn't move quickly off the shelves. It was a little bit too heavy, it was a little bit too stiff. People, once you actually wore the sandals, and some people still love those are their favorite sandals to date, but from look and from first feel, they weren't selling very well. So we moved into car tire sidewalls, and those were really cool because you would have, let's say, Michelin brand, right? And we would cut off the M&I and they would just say chillin' on the bottom of the sole, or it would say stone on the bottom of another sole. So every sole was different depending on the brand of the tire. But that as well, the sidewall of a tire is a little bit slippery. So people would look at them and think that they were slippery right away. And we said, well, they're tires, so they're not slippery. But that was what people were thinking. So they weren't selling quick enough to keep a business afloat. Well, we kind of, in 2017, we gathered our brains and our intentions. And we, during this whole process, there were pieces of tires that were not being used in the sandal. And I was always thinking, you know, we're using these tires, but there are pieces still that we just haven't figured out how to use, right? So in that, we found somebody that could then grind up those pieces of the tires. Once we found that, we were able to send the full tire to the grinder, and then we come up with a powder, right? Now this is a powder. And then we create the sole, we remold the sole from this powder. And then now we're using 100% of the tire. So there are no more pieces left, right? So it was a development of basically technology and as well as the intention to continue to develop, continue to do good, as well as our intention was to use 100% of the tire. And now we have an amazing, really clean sole. Every sole is the same. Every retail agent, every store can expect the same product. And that really helps people on the floor of stores be able to sell the product easier. You want to make it easier for people at store to sell your product. And so now we have a very streamlined, consistent, durable, high quality, very fashionable flip-flop slide cross model. Here's our cross, and this is our new color, pollen. And this is a new model. And so along the way, there was challenges of scaling our production. People did not want to work with us because we were working with discarded tires, especially shoe companies or shoe factories. We partnered with a shoe factory for a long time, but as we were growing, we needed to find a larger facility. And this is part of an interesting story for Fashion Revolution Week, because the challenge is finding a factory that fits for you, right? So making sure that, so we've developed a questionnaire with anybody that we work with, and we go in when we talk to the factory owner and we ask them a series of, it's almost 40 questions. And this is really important as well when you start developing your B Corp certification, that you go through these processes. When we started developing our B Corp certification, this was something that came easy for us because we had already included these processes in our own developments as a brand and company. So finding a good factory that you will work with, but also most importantly, or not most importantly, but just as important, they want to work with you, because it really is a partnership when you're making something. And for us, it was difficult on both sides, to be honest with you. There were a couple of factories we found that we wanted to work with, but they didn't want to work with us because of the tires, and it's a difficult process, and it's definitely a different way of thinking. It's not as easy to produce. There are different challenges that come to producing a sandal with discarded and waste tires, and anything from waste, really. There's extra steps involved in creating these processes, which we as a company and I personally think that all these steps are just steps in the process that happen anyways, but are new to the process, so they think they're extra steps. This is part of the challenge of what Fashion Revolution is, and what waste management is, and what we term the secondary resource market is, and modern day mining is this development of systems that create the ease for discarded products to be turned into new products once again. So the challenge of finding manufacturing, once we were ready to scale, was a challenge that was a hurdle that was in front of us. We ended up overcoming it in 2017. And it's been an interesting progression since then. Our business has really grown once we were able to scale and fine tune our manufacturing process with a great partner. So that was a huge challenge that we overcame. The challenge that we're having now is, now that we've developed a product that we really like and that is proven to be very sellable and is moving at retail and moving online, and people are happy with it and people are sharing it and people are desiring it, which we're really happy about and really thankful for. Now our new hurdle is really growing and getting it out there to the world, right? It's how do we let more people know about what we do and what our product is and the intentions behind the brand, and that it's not just a sustainable product, but it's a great product. And so that's where we are now. And it's actually a really exciting process. And to be honest with you, it's just as hard as finding a great manufacturer and building a great product. There are many steps to a brand. So, but they're all equally as challenging. And in my opinion, and in our opinion, if you look at it right, they're equally as fun.
Thank you, Kai. I agree with you about the consistency. I mean, you can say, so people can say the flip-flop that you buy in Bali and the one you buy in Australia is the same, same quality, same level of consistency, stuff like that.
Correct.
And I think I would like to ask Tina, actually, because you're actually creating a very unique product, like very specific, like one. So that I would like to know what are your challenges, because I think your bag is, I think it's not for mass production. I think it's just one by one. Maybe you can share.
Challenges. There are loads of challenges. And I like what Carl was saying. You need to find the partners. And for us, finding the partners is sometimes the whole dampening issue. Let me just give you an example. Last year, we came up with a new design called the Sabrina. And Sabrina is a tote bag. I designed it, we scaled it, we manufactured it, we started selling it, we put it onto our online e-commerce shop and so on and so forth. But you see, that wasn't enough. That's done with the fashion fabric. So where is the repurposing conscious story to it? And I decided we had to do something different. So I took my husband's t-shirt without him realizing it. It was one of his favorite t-shirts from the Komodo Islands, aged, it's really, really old. I took it and I cut it into a Sabrina, and I'm going to show it to you because I brought it with me. That's what it looks like. See, Komodo there, right? What Indonesia has to give us. And I believe that the island right now is closed for certain reasons. So I took this and I created the Sabrina, and I called her Sabrina 2.0, and my team was like, oh my God, what is this now? It's a repurposed Sabrina made out of a t-shirt that I took from my husband without him knowing. So we set the course there. So this, I can say, is conscious change, repurposing into fashion. Then the next idea was, what happens if we did an exhibition of 100 t-shirts? If we could collect from people a t-shirt they wanted to preserve, they wanted to turn it into something, and then do an exhibition with all the stories behind it. So that's an idea we conceived. Now I need the partners. So I did a video talk on it. We sent it out to certain organizations, be they quasi-government, be they private, that we wanted to work with and say, hey, let's look at you being a partner to us and let's bring this out, because it's a message that has to reach. And so one of the challenges we found was to get partners who took the fact that you're repurposing an old t-shirt into a story which has bearing on today, what's happening environmentally with us. We're throwing away so much that we shouldn't be doing. We don't think twice before we go out and buy a new t-shirt. Why should we do that? We have a whole wardrobe, and I think most of us do, of things that we can consciously think to repurpose. And so I said, let's bring this out as a story to create awareness, to be catalytic. And that's what we want to be, is catalytic to helping you change a habit. And you know how hard we spent 1 year looking for a partner to say, give us the rental space, FOC, give us a platform to talk, help us get the t-shirts to us in Bali from wherever they are, so we don't have to bear the huge cost of shipping, and we should try to cut that down collectively. And we couldn't find anybody that was interested. And that was 1 year ago. So right now, with the way this COVID-19 has done everything shut down. So we've sort of taken this and put it there on the side. It's really looking for partners, and partners who believe in you was one of the challenges that we still face today. And you're right, our products are all made by hand, so they're very niche. And I think it's letting the market that's interested in it realize that rubbish has a place in this world. It was a packaging that someone thought about and designed, got produced. Unfortunately, it doesn't biodegrade. It's going to be around for a long time, but it started off as a creative design. So why don't we take that now and go the next few steps and put it into a product? So for example, Tetra Pak. Let's talk about Tetra Pak, right? I would like to go to a Tetra Pak. This is Tetra Pak, and we take a Tetra Pak, we turn it into this. And then from the leftovers of it, we turn it into the little tag that I showed you. So we're trying to reserve and keep as much of this so it doesn't go into waste. So won't it be great if a partner of Tetra Pak say, hey, we like what you're doing. Can you help us do a workshop to reach out to people to spread the message that every Tetra Pak can be saved and it can be turned into something else? So it's again, finding partners who are wanting to work with you to spread a message. But I think when people look at the fact we're dealing with rubbish and the fact that, Carl, you're dealing with a tire, they sort of say, so what's the commercial use in it to begin with? Secondly is, do you have the reach and capacity for it to go forward? And so we're always knocking our heads against that with the products we create and come up. But I do have our niche, you could say, who buy from us and who love it and who say, so what new crazy things is Strange But Cool going to come up with? And so we have noticed, as I said, our designs are moving away from just being out of a fashion fabric, but moving away and taking discards and putting that into something. And recently I just had a young gentleman call me when I was at the airport transiting and say, hi, would you make a t-shirt for me that I would love to give to my girlfriend? And I was like, yes, we could. Yes. Okay. Let me get to my destination and we'll talk about it. And he actually got us to make a t-shirt and he gave it to the love of his life. So, so little things tell me that there is a market out there that would enjoy it. But then again, how do we bring it out whereby people think differently? And it's really thinking conscious change of my habit. Can I repurpose something? And for us, it's repurposing into our fashion.
Thank you, Tina. Very interesting and very inspiring. So, your story is that, especially that T-shirt that guy is calling. Wow, that's.
I was amazed, but yes, we made that T-shirt and quite a few more given away. Love T-shirts, more to say.
Okay, so speaking about the challenges, I personally know Tree Upcycle. I work with Anissa also, and I think they actually have this finding manufacturer who wants to do it, finding partners who wants to work with. So maybe Anissa can share also a little bit, because I think Tina and Kai are very resourceful. They have a lot of experience, so maybe this is the time to ask your question.
Yeah, sure. It's if I being asked what is the biggest challenge at first, it's indeed the production side, because at that time until now, even we don't have our own production facility. We don't have our own factory. We don't even have a product designer, because we all, 5 of us, our team decided to be our own product designer. And yeah, to look for the vendor or supplier that wants to work with us, because we're from old bed sheets to fabric scraps is not easy. And luckily, within last year, we are collaborating with a women empowerment organization in Ubud called Kim Women's Center. There are so many talented ibu-ibu or women or Balinese or mix of women who are marginalized. They teach and they trained to sew and many other skill, and we think it's really good to work with them. And they're always looking for a partner who wants to use their human resource. I mean, so why not? We're also collaborating with them because it's also our purpose to connect with to connect human to human. Uh, our value in our production is always, maybe our product is not the best product, but we have that value. We have the ethical value. We know who are made our products. So for now, we collaborate with the local NGOs and sometimes also the artisanal, the individual sewer or workers out there if we need a backup. So it's very important to find the right vendors. It's not only the skillful one, but the one who work with the same vision and mission, who understand our mission that we want to repurpose this waste. So if we have the same vision and mission, then I'm sure that it can be a long-term partner.
Okay, thank you, Anissa. So I have another question actually about how do you raise your profile to your customer? I mean, the generic marketing strategy may be not applied for, or maybe applied also. So I just want to actually know from each one of you how you brand yourself for your, marketing yourself to your customers. So maybe Anissa, do you want to share first?
Yeah, I think the highest value that we always share to our customer is that every product is different. We have so many sources, and even every new product are different. Let's say it's the same design, but the fabric is coming from a different hotel because we also taking the bed sheets from the hotels in Bali to be upcycled. And that's our uniqueness, and also the feel that we want to share to our customer is, let's do something together. Let's empower each other to do something about the problem of the environment in this earth. That's the second. And the third one is, I think only two of that. So we want to deliver the message of waste is not always ugly. Waste can be someone else's treasure. And that's the value that we really want to deliver to all of the people. Sometimes when we have a clothes with a ripped on it, we don't want to use it anymore. The Tree Upcycle team really wants people to repair it, to longer the lifespan of the product. So that's the third value.
Okay, thank you very much, Anissa. Because I think it's a very niche market, upcycling and recycling product. But like for example, like Tina, you the way you market your products, your StrangebutCool is actually like I think it's not conventional at all, right? If you can explain a little bit.
Conventional, nothing conventional. We accepted the fact that we're a very niche company and what we produce appeals to a certain segment. So we've accepted that. So we don't say, let's do this and everyone's going to buy it. No, it doesn't happen that way. So we segment our market very precisely. And when a product is developed, we sort of say, right, that's for this level. So therefore we will now tailor what we say in the messaging and, you know, what we will, so that they understand what it's all about. Going out with every one of our messaging is our tagline, conscious change, repurposing into fashion, and what that means. So that's in the conversation continually, because we want to build that platform out. So based on the different market segments we have for different products, we keep 3 messages consistent all the time. 1, you have the power to make the change. 2, you have to consciously make it. And the 3rd one will be just repurpose is the way to go. So we say it consistently. And I think after, I think it's a year now, a bit more than a year of saying it, the associations are starting, strange but cool, conscious change, repurposing into fashion. But we still have to keep at it because there's a long way to go. We use the tools that everybody does. You have your social media platforms. We also do workshops in our studio, whereby we invite people in to come and be involved. And if I go back to what Sophie said, people forget how their hands are meant to be. We only know how to type, but we don't realize it's meant for so many other things. And now research is showing us that therapy is stress relieving. Therapy helps us contain the insanity and keep us sane. And I notice in my participants in the workshop how scared people are to use their hands, and how they start by saying, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. And when they end 45 minutes later, it's like, oh my God, I made that. I see a transformation. So it tells me that we don't connect enough with what we can actually do. And for some reason, we are being limited. So if I come back, we've got workshops as another way of doing it. And so I think it's really being consistent, and it's being very sure of what you want to put out, so that your visitors, your consumers, your loyal fans, that they resonate with the soul of your business. Every business needs to have a soul to it, a driving cause to it. And ours is really conscious change, that platform of creating awareness. And it's like tree. I love that tree, the human to human, human to animal, human to earth. And I love the fact taking the motorcycle and turning parts of the tire now into a powder to be used. You know, we're all working with throwaways, and yet we're all facing that similar problem of supply, partners to work with, vendors that are going to say, yes, I agree with what you do. I would take a chance with you. It's that aspect of taking a business risk. If I give you X square feet in my store for your product, which doesn't carry something which is New York-ishy, put it that way, is someone going to buy it, or is that space given to you not going to give me a revenue? So it does come down to dollars and cents. So hopefully, with what's happening worldwide now, we're all in lockdown. I've been in lockdown for 1 month, going on to the 2nd month. You begin to view things differently, and we should embrace the change that's been thrown upon us, that it's going to just change so many different things. Hopefully it will change the way business partners who could help us view what we're trying to do with the little that we have. And it's, as fashion revolution goes forward, it really is thinking about where your materials come from. And if we can take a bit of waste away from what goes into the earth, why not?
Thank you, Tina. So there's a good question from the YouTube viewers. It's about how do you, wait, I have to read again. How do you prevent your products going to the landfill? That's a good question. So maybe you can share a bit, Tina, that
Well, that's a question I've always asked. How long will you carry it for before you say, I've had enough and I'm going to toss it away? I ask myself, I ask my team, so how long are we going to get someone to carry that t-shirt? I think it comes down to your personal conviction. We cannot put a trace on it. So how convicted are you? But if I look at the journey, if you were convicted enough to take an old t-shirt, put it and send it to us, then pay for us to make it for you and to pay for it to be sent back to you and then to be using it. That conviction may mean you hold on to it a lot longer. We may not prevent things from going into the landfill, but maybe what we're doing is prolonging the life of it. And in that prolonging of the life, you change a bit of your aspect towards what you're going to buy next. So you cut down, maybe you don't buy 18 t-shirts, you just buy 2 for the whole year. So 16, and if we add that on, we're not bought. So we add that on, maybe they'll just stop selling t-shirts. So it's really a question we've asked. We don't have the answer for it, but I think it's all in the personal conviction as to how you are going to relate to throwing something you chose to keep away. And it's like Carl's shirt from his dad, he's still wearing it. It's gone down the generations and possibly down another generation. And I think that's the way we need to think. We need to change. And we go back to what our great grandmothers used to do. They used to patch things up, didn't they? They used to keep things. And when they bought, they didn't buy with the throwaway in their minds. They bought with the I keep, I preserve, it goes down the generation. We have lost all of that now. So hence, I love this title, Slow Fashion.
Thank you, Tina. It really makes, thank you for the answer. It really makes me to think, also asking myself about it, actually, how do I prevent my stuff, from going to the landfill? So this question also, I really want to know what Kai's opinion about it, because I think Indosole is a B Corp certification company, and I think ensuring that your product minimize the product to go to landfill, maybe in one of the requirements. So maybe you can share your experience here.
Yeah, exactly. So we've thought about it for a long time, and we've come up with a solution that is still on a small scale now, but potentially can be on a large scale. It's a pretty deep question, so I'll try to keep it as simple as possible because it can be pretty complex. But so when our product is made, we take waste tires from landfill, right? Now, when we sold the product, and it exceeded its use, right? We guarantee our sandals for 1 year. So let's say they go past 1 year and you need a new pair of sandals. What do you do with that pair of sandals? Well, essentially the tire on that bottom would just go back to go back to waste, right? When it doesn't need to. So after many years of trying to figure out the logistics, we've started this in Bali, where you can now send back your tire or your sandal to us. We will cut the sole off, reprocess it into powder, and use it again as a sole. This whole process is still in process. As well, you'll ask about what about the upper of the sandal? The same thing. We can chop it up and make. This is something I was saying earlier about we're a solutions company, and we're working on continuing the solutions beyond just tires. So this is something we've thought about for a long time, and it's taken years to develop. We're getting very close. In our shop in Bali, in Canggu, we have a basket, and if you give back your sandal or any sandal to us, we will give you 20% off a new pair. Now, the challenge is, what do you do with international orders, right? How do you get them back to our manufacturing facility where we can then process these again? And that's actually a huge challenge on the planet today, right now, which is something that's interesting that is happening. And it can be a pretty deep conversation, but if you start looking at the manufacturing process and how it has been outsourced over the last 50 to 70 years to developing countries, and you can see it in China where it's starting to develop, where so there's people that are moving out of factory life because they have opportunities to get a higher wage, and therefore other developing countries will start manufacturing what China used to develop, and so on, right? It's a chain reaction of production, right? So, for example, Korea used to be a major manufacturing hub. Now Korea business is set up in other countries manufacturing because the labor is cheaper. As money continues to go to these countries, that their income level starts rising slowly, but and then they continue to go to smaller pockets where labor is cheaper and cheaper. At some point, that's going to run out. And that's a point that I'm really excited about, because what it does is it creates more equality and a better pay scale for disadvantaged people, number one. And number two, it'll make people think about setting up manufacturing in the country in which they sell. And once you manufacture in the country in which you sell, you're also going to be able to utilize the waste stream within that country. So it's a connecting process. If you create waste in the country and you can divert that waste and create a systematic approach where you're separating waste, you're then modern day mining, you're creating a secondary resource market, you're then selling these secondary resources to producers to then make a new product. So it's a cyclical program. Now, it's not available right now. Currently, we're developing it ourselves in Indonesia, but that's in Indonesia, right? So we do sell in other countries, and we're literally trying to figure out how we can potentially create a partnership with shipping systems, which is a large system and it's very hard to penetrate. And especially like, us, we'll probably be one container of sandals that comes back. I mean, the amount of people that are actually going to send back sandals, that's the other thing, is the amount of people that are actually going to send them back is probably small as well, right? Because they're not used to this like cyclical program where, hey, I'll send it back, they'll reuse it, they'll just throw it in trash because that's what they're used to doing. So it's also a thought development as well. But so goods are going, let's say goods from Indonesia are going to Europe. There's going to be containers coming back to Indonesia at some point, right? You're not just producing containers over containers at a steel mill in Indonesia. Containers are getting here somehow, right? So if there's a way that the transportation of waste and cyclical materials can happen in a transportation system, that's huge. And with modern technology and GPS and apps and tracking devices, this is all possible, right? It's not out of the realm. It's just going to take a while to develop. And I think that's kind of hopefully a step that people are starting to realize and taking. It's just going to take a while. And this is something that we feel, and I feel that is something that we need to think about, is the earth is super strong, right? It's been through way more than we have put it through. Now it's going through a lot right now, right? Because we've created a lot of man-made products and that the earth is rejecting. And we need to think about that and start figuring out our systems of dealing with this waste. Because as we start developing it, the earth will start thanking us and will start overcoming the issues that we've brought it. It's super strong, right? And so a lot of people are talking about climate change and whatnot, and that's an absolute valid point. But they're saying like 2030, right? And it's putting so much pressure on us to do things now, and it's maybe turning some people off. Whereas we think like, let's talk about a long-term approach and start building these processes now, because it's going to take a long time, right? These shipping routes and shipping exchanges, that's not something that's going to happen overnight, right? But here's the other thing: it could happen a lot quicker if large investment went into it, instead of say making more bombs or more drones or 5G, whatever you want to say. I'm not trying to bring up these touchy subjects, but it's true. If large investment went into waste management and waste transportation and investing in how to use waste materials, getting engineers, product designers, chemical engineers on board on how to really utilize this secondary resource market, which is what we like to term it, things can happen, and they are happening with a select community that we are all a part of. So again, it's a deep subject, and I guess I'll leave it at that. But did I answer your question?
Yes. Yes, I think, well, it's good to know that actually in Indonesia, you're trying to make sure that your product are not going to the waste,
Yes.
the landfill, and by collecting them and actually giving 20% discount is actually the way to do it in Indonesia. It works for Indonesia.
Yeah, incentivizing people to participate in this waste cycle by sending them back to us or dropping them at our store. They then get 20% off a new product. It's our way of saying thank you, basically. And anybody who's listening in Indonesia or beyond, send us a DM at Indosole on Instagram, and we'll assist you.
Thank you, Kai. Thank you for your sharing. I do have another question from the YouTube. From Upcycle about how they try to tackle the textile waste.
Okay, so basically right now Upcycle is collecting many kinds of fabrics or textile. First, we get the textile from old bed sheets from the hotels all around Bali. The second is we collecting the fabric scraps from the small garment factories here in Bali and also in Java. So the first is to source it right. So we want to make sure all of the source that we get, I mean the fabric waste, is a real waste, not something that is actually they can make something out of it again. And the second one is to storage. It's very important because fabric is very easy to be getting ugly, getting broken. So we have to make sure that we keep it in the right place. And the third one is to trace the waste that we already used and how many left and which kind of waste that we still have. And the last thing is to maintain it. So if there's any broken source of fabric waste that we have, what should we do about it? Can we dye it, or can we do something else about it? This is the ideal way of to managing the fabric waste or textile waste, but in the reality is actually very hard also for upcycle, because we still doesn't have the right storage to keep everything. We put it in our house, team's house, and sometimes it's in Denpasar, and sometimes it's in Mangwi, and sometimes it's also in Ubud. So it's still also our problem to have the most efficient way to manage the textile waste that we get as the source. And also after the waste processed to be a new product, we always do a quality control. So we usually have a grade for the quality that we have, because to use the old fabric is not easy. What we do is to sometimes we just need to sew the fabric into one product. Sometimes we use the old bedsheet because it's white color and we can play with it a lot. We print it, and because it's different quality of bed sheets, the printing is coming differently for every product. So sometimes the quality of the printing is very bad, and sometimes it's really nice and bright. By the way, we use the digital printing, and we also sometimes do the screen printing, but the eco one that is taking care of the waste of it. And yeah, so the first grade quality is the one that we sell online, and the second grade quality is the one that we sell at the store and also in the events or like a bazaar booth. And the third one is those which we discount for 50% or buy one get one. So, but we come up with the education. We're trying to educate our customer that our production is not perfect because we're not using new materials, but they all have their own stories. So that three grades are how we try to communicate with our customer. And the last one is the product that we cannot sell at all because it's just really bad and we're sure that there's no one gonna buy it. We repurpose it again, like this mask. It's come from the fourth grade product that it has the hole on the side or something that has stains, a big stains on a bandana. It was a bandana before. So yeah, we're trying to make our own waste is also less. So that's how we're trying to manage our our waste as a source and also our production waste.
Okay, thank you, Anissa. Hearing the three of you sharing about your journey, I think creativity is not only about how to make a product only from the waste, but actually how to share it to the world, how to promote it, how to share your values through that product. It takes creativity, and it's kind of like an ongoing learning and developing, and to be, and an ongoing creativity that you have to do it since the beginning. I think until now, and I don't know until when you will continue on seeing how this can go, how this product is, how about if we do this, how about if we collaborate with this, and how do we prevent our product or maybe giving it another life. But now we are in this lockdown, in this which is very unfortunate, and I think this pandemic is actually changing the way we interact and the way we do business. And I really want to ask your if you can share how your business, how you keep your business and creativity, intact during this pandemic. But I will ask this first to Tina, who's actually in complete lockdown. That will be interesting to know to know your story, Tina.
Okay, my heart here. We've been in lockdown for 1 month, and the lockdown here is serious in the sense that you can only go out one person at a time to grocery shop or to do an essential service. But even then now, essential services are all done through the internet. There are police patrols. They go by groups of 2 or 4. They will stop you. They will ask to see identification, and they want to know where you're going. There are roadblocks. So if you're in a vehicle, let's say a Grab driver, you're going down to the supermarket, they will stop you, they will ask, they will check, they want identification. And if they feel that you really are going to do it, they will let you go. If not, turn back and go back. And so that's what it's been like for 1 month. And now we're in the 2nd month, and it may just be extended for a 3rd month. So it alters your entire person. We took a few days to adjust to this. My husband just went like, oh my God, I can't get out. I can't do my daily walks. And I have to say to him, you have to stay in, please stay in, please don't go out. I don't want the cops knocking on the door. But anyway, that's a different story. So for me, I came up here to our Penang home was to finish off a fashion collection, actually. It was to finish it and put in new things to it and get creative, right? So I brought up some fabulous fabric. I brought up a huge lot of supplies to get this done. I spent the first week of the lockdown doing it, and then I stopped because it had no relevance. Why am I trying to finish off something fashionable at this point in time where it's the last thing on anyone's mind, and it should be the last thing on my mind? So I stopped it, and for 3 days, I had no idea what I was going to do. And then came the issue of, how do I prevent my husband, if he does go out, please wear a mask? And he would not wear a mask. So I said, you know what? I'm going to design you a mask. So you will wear that, you will look fashionable, you'll be comfortable, then you can go out. So I spent the next few days designing a mask. Anyway, we did that. So the lockdown has changed me. It's changed the way I think, therefore my behavior through that. It's also changed the way in which my business has to be run. Our supply chain, both in Bali and here in Penang, has gone to zero. So getting supplies becomes an issue. We can't bring in, we can't ship out by local post or any other. The only way to go is by courier. And you can understand how expensive 1 kilo is by courier. So what I found out is there is no incentive for a business to be able to reach out, send things, sell things, do things if the mail system does not work. And in Malaysia, Malaysian Post, tutup 100% until this lockdown is over. So you can't do anything. And Malaysia also has restrictions on what can be sent out and what can't be sent out. So we're working with that. So my entire logistics circle just died. So we had to rebuild that by trying to find partners. Now that took us about 11 days to put into, whereby we have found partners, we have found people who are willing to go the extra mile to help us with our little needs of getting things out of the country. Then came, what do you do with your supply chain if there's no one to help you produce? Means our tailors are not doing anything anymore because businesses are closed in Bali. Though there is the ability to still be mobile there. But over here, I can't get anything done at all because it is an offense, it's a crime punishable by being put into jail if you are found to be doing anything else but staying at home. So we took, I would say, in those, I counted 11 days to sort out logistics. We, in that 11 days, tried to patch together a supply chain as well. But it just meant that supply chain got a lot more expensive. So at this point in time, the only person producing is me. I've become everything. I've become the pattern maker, the pattern cutter, the sewer, the floor sweeper, the thinking about what do we do with this rubbish that I now have. So it's all come down to that. And this COVID-19 pandemic has resonated one thing. If you were to rely on global distribution now and global sourcing, I think you're going to be pulling out your hair. You have to be local. It's driving that. You have to be local. You then need to find innovative ways. Innovation comes in all the time. You have to be very innovative because your supply is going to run out. So you need to be very innovative here. There is nothing that cannot be turned into something. So your wheels begin to click. So we faced all of that. And you must have a conviction that will make you go the extra mile. Without that conviction, I think you're going to probably view being locked down in a not so positive state, and mental strength is really needed to stay the course. So I found that purpose, and so I started a new business, interestingly enough. And the new business is what everyone needs now. It's a mask. And it took a few days to get a prototype right, put it on the husband, he went out, loved it. And then it was to give it a name. And for me, I'm still in the process of reading the book about joy. And so Amas, we call her Joy. And the mission is delivering joy to as many people as we can. So that's what's keeping me anchored mentally. This is what's keeping my team in Bali anchored because they've got to grow the social media on it. And we've just been told now I can't send anything back to Bali, so I don't know how they're going to photograph the mask. And it's this conviction you need to mentally stay your course. Then it translates into an emotional filling so that you find purpose to doing it. And then support from your inner network of family, friends, and then it goes out to customers who are supporting you, who are your fans. And then from there, it goes out, it becomes a business that sort of spills. But it all requires steps to build. So I'm going to show you our more or less latest Joy, and she is now moving into conscious change, repurposing into fashion because she's made out of a piece of rubbish. But I love her, and I call her my Spider-Man because look, isn't she great?
It does look like Spider-Man.
I'll put it on for you. Yes, my son said, hey, that's Spider-Man, but I'll put a Spider-Man on for you. See? That's our 3D mask. Anyway, so we're now bringing into the mask collection, repurposing from using waste materials into it. And we have a lot of other ones which are all done out of our fashion fabric. So you can see I'm cutting up all the fashion fabrics, making them into masks at this point in time. So that's been our purpose. So that's how we've shifted our business in the pandemic. That's how we've realigned our thought patterns. It's not just me, it's 2 other people, 3 other people, 5 people that have to bring this together. And delivering joy is now our mission. We've switched. We have just gone from fashion now to delivering joy. So I don't know if that resonates with the rest, but you need to be able to change and change fast. And you have to be able to put in all your quality management, your QCs into it. You've got to put in also the hygiene aspect of it. Now, how do we do these? You know, how do we wash them? How do we soak them? How do we sun them? How do we use Dettol in it? You know, so all of this, how do we pack it? And what do we tell our consumers at the end? So the quicker you can do this, I think the quicker you may be able to take the lockdown situation and turn it into a positive for what you have. And I would say it's like what Tree is doing. Storing fabric is a very difficult thing. And I agree with you because it needs a certain humidity control, especially when you have it in 35-meter bales stacked on each other. And if only we could get, I use the word serious business, right? People with deep pockets, investors to sort of say, hey, look, there are businesses worth the while for us to be involved in, to champion, to help. It may not take a huge amount, but it makes a difference to the cause of what that business is bringing forward. It helps them lift themselves up so that their messages get heard by a larger audience, and that what they produce can then go to the next level. It's going to take a long time before consumerism begins to shift and say, we want to buy things that have meaning and purpose in it, because the rest of the world is so looked into wearing a label to define where their status is in society. Now, hopefully, being in this pandemic changes us so that we begin to look at our needs in a very different way.
Thank you very much, Tina. Thank you very much for your sharing. So now you're the maker, the packagers, you know, you're the cleaner, and looks like you have to take photo of your own product also. So you're the photographer now. Okay. Thank you very much. I think maybe Indosole, who actually resourcing all his materials from Indonesia, from Bali, and all your team are in Bali. Probably you don't have that kind of complex challenges on resourcing your material, but I'm sure you have some challenges because of this pandemic. So maybe you can share a bit, Kai, about it.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of manufacturing, that's okay. You know, we were prepared, luckily, before that, because to be honest, our main market is in the northern hemisphere, as well as Bali and Indonesia. But so we prepared for, not in preparation for COVID, but just in preparation for spring. So we shipped earlier in the year. But yeah, we're definitely affected by the situation financially, in particular with, we have retail outlets in the USA that have canceled orders. Tourism in Bali is now basically 10% of, not maybe even less than 10% of what it usually is. So that's our customer base and all the stores that we sell to here. So financially, it's been very tough. We've managed to keep our staff on through this time, but there's going to be a point where things are going to get really, really difficult for a lot of businesses here. We're determined to make sure that our staff, number one, and anybody involved in our family is safe and taken care of and looked after. And then we've extended this into our greater Bali community and Indonesian community. So we've gone in as a brand and reflected more on our brand and worked on the stories and developing ways to communicate our brand in ways that we didn't have time to before. You know, time is so valuable, and everyone says, and now we have a lot of time, and we're using our time valuably, we feel. I want to share an initiative that we just launched this week with Room for Dessert here, because we anticipate that there's going to be a lot of hungry people as salaries and people have getting more and more laid off and without a job. So we anticipate hunger becoming more of an issue. So we've chosen to work with a Room for Dessert in Ubud to provide food to people that need it. And this is a twofold thing, cyclical thing, where the food that that Room for Dessert is preparing and giving as a meal is very nutritious, good food that they serve in their restaurant. And that restaurant is amazing. It's one of the top pastry and dessert restaurants in the world. And they also do savory food now for delivery. And he's also keeping his staff, Will Goldfarb, the head chef and owner there, is keeping his staff employed during these times. So ordering Gojek or something, or going and picking up food from there serves his staff, but it also serves the greater community, because anything extra that he's making is going to feed people that need it. So ourselves, Indosole, and House of Penny, which is a DJ collective here that also is a fashion brand here in Bali, have joined forces before on our community assist basketball program. We've raised over 100 million for different causes in our 2 tournaments. We've decided to give back. So, for example, we're gonna, I'll show you the video first, and then I can tell you more. So.
If you're here in Ubud and you're hungry, don't be shy. Please come and join us. If you're here in Ubud and you're hungry and you want to order food, we're here for you. If you're bored because your restaurant is closed and you want to jump in and cook, we're here for you. If you grow food, we are here for you. Bring it down and we will turn it into something delicious. That's what we can do right now while we're here, our little 20-seat dessert bar, to try to give back a little bit of goodness to this island, which has been so great for us.
So that is the most important part right there, is so we've developed, so now in the US on our web sales, and then also in our shop, if you buy a pair of flip-flops, it will feed 3 people. If you buy a pair of slides, it will feed 5 people. And we've collabed with House of Penny for a t-shirt, a collab t-shirt that feeds 20 people. So all profits go to them. So this is something that we can do to, give back to the community that we're a part of. So that's something. And then we're working on other brand initiatives. So we've taken this time not to just not work, but to continue to develop things that we were, struggling to keep pace with prior to COVID. So, yeah. I was also thinking that in your past, you said, how do you market yourself? And for us, it's continuing to try and stay ahead of the curve, continue to talk about issues and with people that we really respect. So that's something we're doing right now as well. And stay tuned, because we'll have some really great content and some really amazing videos that we're coming up with. I really believe in this new series that's going to be launched here pretty soon. I want to try and show you our video one more time. And this is a video that we made earlier in the year that we haven't put out yet. We're waiting on the right way to put it out. But basically, I'll just fast forward if it pauses again. So Here you go. And can you see the screen? Just nod if you, okay. So yeah, we made it through the video. So yeah, that's, you know, that's really what we're focused on during this time, during the COVID, is looking after our staff, looking after community, and continuing to work and continuing to create and be ready and ahead of the game when everything breaks after this.
Yep. Thank you very much, Kai. It's really amazing. I actually feel very amazed and inspired by each one of you, because it's like it's the difference between between maybe you and or maybe other businesses, maybe that you have your own focus, like how to stay active, how to be positive, how to help your own employees, how to protect them also, and then how to do also something for the community. And I think that's probably not the big companies are not on that area at all. So I mean, I'm really inspired because so many people are actually thinking about good things. I mean, a mask with the name Joy, it should bring you joy. I think it's important for us to have that joy feeling in this time of pandemic. Um, I think the last question from me will be is actually after, what do you think it's going to be after the COVID? Like, because now this is our new normal. This is how we do stuff. I think Indosole is for benefit is actually because all the materials are actually sourcing in Indonesia, so there's no issue on that one. So maybe but maybe do you think that is going to change after the COVID? Okay.
Me? Okay. Well, in what sense? Do you mean like as people, or as fashion as a business?
I think as a business.
Yeah, well, as a business, I mean, just the pure fact of economics, right? It's going to take a while for economics to reinvigorate populations. So buying power, purchasing power is going to slowly rise, right? As jobs come back and travel, and there's going to be a lot of people staying at in at their home, in their hometown, their home country, their home state, their home country. One would hope, if the positive side of it could be more conscious thought processes, more resourceful practices, more holistic health, wellness. That is the positive side. We as a brand are really hoping and looking towards the positive. The reality is there could be a lot of negatives, right, with the economic side of things, and trying to assist people's purchasing is something that's very interesting. Now, by assist, it's also something that other people can assist with, right? So this program of you buy one pair of flip-flops and it feeds 3 people, you buy a pair of slides, feeds 5 people. Stuff like that could really elevate people's willingness and ability to buy. The other aspect is oh man, I lost my train of thought. But there are ways. The online thing is the other side of things. Is that it's a very it's time right now to accept the power of online shopping, and because it's going to be interesting to see the retail spaces that come out of this. There's going to be a lot of closures, especially in the U.S. malls, but that was happening. But retail chains, they may skinny up, they may cut a bunch of locations. So that's going to be an interesting process to be a part of and watch and pay attention to, is how is commerce done now when it comes to things. I mean, from toilet paper to a pair of slides to a handbag to a hat, is that whole process is very interesting, and I'm hoping it's not all through Amazon. That's why it's really important to support small businesses and buy directly from their website.
Okay, thank you, Kai. Thank you very much. And for this question is also for Tina. I mean, from your personal experience at the moment, so what do you think that will happen after the COVID? How the customer, the consumption behavior of the customer, and probably how you view your business also after this end, something like that.
I would say that if you're a business owner, whether it's be a large, medium, or small scale business, a business owner, you will be already talking about how does the business go forward and be ready for post-COVID. I've already started that dialogue, and we've already started to track what consumer differences are showing through in terms of statistics and so on. So I have a Singapore office tracking that to sort of make sense of what it is. And what Carl said is true. Internet shopping has just gone through the roof. It will continue on that scale. People will become used, I think, to staying in now. And people will start, I hope again, learning to deal or wanting less. So the superfluous may disappear and the core may grow. Whatever that is, we can't say at this point, right? But we're all very, I use the word conditioned by what we see in the social media. Someone puts out something, this is necessary, bang, people start following that. So do we begin then to grow our own minds as to what we think we should be consuming, or are we still going to be mass-led? That's one of the questions I've been discussing. The second question I've been discussing is that as business owners, what should our priorities be when we design a new product? So we don't quite have the answer for that yet. It's an ongoing debate. We as business owners need to keep our family together. We've got, let's just take the work family. So reaching out to them. So weekly we reach out. We still continue through Zoom, our, you could say, company meetings. We still need to know what's going on because business still has to go on, even though it's taken a fall dramatically. And then another thing which we've been asking for is, what would our relevance be? We're a fashion company. What is our relevance? And at what level within this fashion change will it be? Then another question we've asked is, how do we complete the cycle? And it was like the question on how do you prevent an article from going into the back into landfills? It's very hard to answer that. But how do we complete this cycle? And another question we have is, as the world moves forward, we are seeing that the lack of man's movement is changing the air quality, is changing the general environment, the greenness, the animals coming back, in all these. I mean, I see it myself every day here with the sky I'm having and the amount of dust I used to have that was gray when I had to clean. So we're asking these questions. Why? Because these questions are necessary to give us a direction for post C19 from a commercial standpoint. And I think if more of us small business holders got together to question this and find the answers, maybe we might come up with a little step-by-step thing that we could look at. But it is requiring a lead, and it is requiring mental and emotional tenacity to make it through this, because I tell you, it's not going to be like 6 months and we're going to be back again. It's going to be 1 year, 2 years. Don't be surprised if it's 3 years before. And during that period of time, the shifts are going to be momentous for any business owner. But I do think we can start with one thing, and that is support small business. Support the businesses that have a soul. Support those who are trying to make the best, like, you know, the coffee. Go down the road and get it from someone who's making it and supporting their business rather than going to buy something Nescafe and what else. So if we could just start by changing that, I think we would begin the steps going forward. So for us, we've started the questioning. I know we're going to be changing the soul of our business because each of us has changed during the course of this lockdown situation, or learning to deal with less, or seeing what's happening around us. You cannot but be moved. You cannot but grow a consciousness to care a hell of a lot more.
Thank you very much, Tina. I like the support the small businesses. I think that's important for everyone. You know, instead of going to Starbucks, maybe just go to the small coffee shop next door, owned by a local, something like that. Anissa, can you share your comment also about what do you think that, you know, the consumer behavior, or what is the market going to be after the COVID is ended?
Well, right now, I really cannot predict what's the future gonna be after this COVID-19, but I do have some hopes and wishes. So yeah, maybe people during the lockdowns, during the stay-at-home activities, I hope that we will reflecting a lot of who we are as a human, what we have done to this Mother Earth. If I really hope that people are more reflecting to that, so that after the COVID-19, they're becoming more conscious consumer. They're more thinking about what are they consuming. And I believe that after this COVID-19 pandemic, people are going to want to be more independent in their own source of what they consume, like food or water, like the essential thing. They want to be closer to the source. That's what I hope. And it may be about the economy crisis. Maybe it might need some more time to get back to normal. So yeah, for the small business like Tree Upcycle, we really also want to encourage it. I cannot agree more to what Tina said about it, to support the local small business to keep the economy run. And yeah, the future will be also, people might be more familiar with online and remote, even for work or shopping or other activity. Hanging out can be online also now. So yeah, just like last month, Three Upcycle supposed to have an offline bazaar in Jakarta, but then the event is closed. This is a pretty big event that we always participate in every year, but then because of the COVID-19, everything is canceled. That's the very shocking and also confusing moment for us back then, because one of our source of income is from that kind of event that's supporting the local brand and yeah, something like that. But now the event is changing to be an online event. They're running the market in their own website with every product curated and introduction of each introduction and explanation of each product. And this is something that is actually going to be can be the future. People don't have to go to the one place together to see what is available at the market. But yeah, it's going to be more efficient to see it on the screen, even if we cannot touch or smell the product. I think the technology nowadays can already explain everything about the product. So yeah, everything's online or remote is going to be more and more popular. And yeah, I think from me and from Tree Upcycle, we just really hope that after this COVID-19, people are going to be more conscious in what are they consuming and what are they doing also for their activity. It's really nice actually to see the world and this Mother Earth is healing herself. With the sky, clear sky, with the beaches is empty and clean, and yeah, it's time for us for reflecting, and don't forget to be grateful for what we have now.
Thank you, Anissa. Thank you very much, everyone. I mean, if I can, my takeaways will be one is creativity. You know, from waste you can start from your scissor or from glue gun. Actually, right? You can just start it from there, and then as you grow, of course, you will face challenges because you have values on what you are doing, and then looking for partners or collaborators who are actually on the same spirit, you know, and on the same passion like you are is also a challenge. And then as you grow, you know, becoming bigger, and then of course then you have another challenges like how do you prevent your product to landfill, which is I think is an ongoing discussion. We haven't found any answer on that. I don't think so. We're going to find it very soon. I mean, quarantine actually in Melbourne here in a hotel, quarantined by the government because I arrived Saturday last week. Tomorrow is our freedom, and the amount the amount of plastic that they gave us every day because they cannot touch us, so they have to deliver our food into the door, and then we have to pick it up, and it's just all covered with plastic, you know, because after that they have to throw it and they have to put that in incinerator because we may have the virus and it may infect it. So it's just crazy. So I think it's a good time for us where we stay at home to actually think what we need, and you know, actually what do we really need and what do we really need to consume. And then I think yes, internet is, everyone is on the internet now, so I think it's very good to capture that immediately, especially for businesses, and let's start to support one another. So thank you very much. I mean, it's been a very good knowledge exchange that I received. Actually, I'm more on receiving here, you know, from every one of you to know about your experience, your journey, and also what you think is going to happen in the future. So I just want to say thank you very much, and we still have some events. Actually, right now is still ongoing event of gender, about gender-free fashion. You can follow the YouTube live stream. If you put bit.ly/GARB TV, then you will find the live stream of our next event. We also have an indigenous art and crafts session where we will have Handep Harwi presenting about their products, which their fashion accessories product, which made from Kalimantan. And then if you still have time, you still awake, we will have the after party, which is 9 p.m. Bali time with Mark Vision and his other DJ's friend who's going to play some cool music, so you can dress up and prepare your wine for enjoying this weekend. So I just want to give a round of applause for Strange But Cool, 3 Upcycling Indosole. Thank you very much. I just want to add a little bit that this event is Fashion Revolution Bali event is a pay what you can event. So you can donate to bit.ly/fashref Bali donation. You can find it on our YouTube on the description. So we will donate the fund equally between Fashion Revolution Global, Fashion Revolution UK, who actually advocating about sustainable fashion to fashion industry, and also equally donated to Kopernik, especially on their COVID-19 emergency response project in Bali, because as you know, there's already like from hospitality industry itself is like more than 2,000 people already being housed at the moment because of the tourism industry is stopping. So thank you very much, everyone. I'll see you again next time.
Thank you so much, Karani. Thank you so much, GARB Slow Fashion Bali and Tina and Kai. I hope we can meet in person in the future. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Namaste. Yes.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.